efforts to avoid another shutdown are a waste of time unless they give him his border wall, and suggesting he may declare a national emergency to build it anyway. So does he have the legal right to do that? Joining us now for more on all of this is Indiana Attorney General Curtis Hill. Good morning to you, sir, and thank you for coming on America's Newsroom. So,
good morning.
Does the president have the legal authority to declare an emergency?
Well, the President of the United States is the Commander-in-Chief, and he has the absolute authority to declare an emergency. The authority to declare an emergency doesn't necessarily mean that's the order that ought to be taken, and I would caution that even the President doesn't want to take this action. But keep in mind that the President was very clear when he ran for office that border security was a top priority, and he's made that clear in these last several weeks and months. So the option is there because he wants to secure the border and protect this nation.
But the framers of the Constitution also gave the members of the House and Senate, you know, the power of the purse, essentially, to dispense money for the nation's needs. The president is not the guy who's supposed to be writing the checks.
Absolutely, and this is a political issue in the sense of border security. The issue comes down to, are you into open and free borders, or do you want to protect and preserve the security of this country? I think the president's got the right idea in that sense, but we do have to look at the concept of the wall. In my view, the wall is a euphemism for border security, and nothing can be done with regard to immigration policy without making sure that our borders are secure.
What sort of constitutional showdown do you think that the president would face if he did decide to take this route?
Well, I certainly think it would be a legal battle. You know, emergencies are typically designed around acute, immediate problems. And quite frankly, this is a problem that we've had for a number of years. I mean, it's appalling that we are still talking about border security here, what, 17 years after 9/11? So one could certainly say, well, emergency, this has been an ongoing political issue. And certainly from the standpoint of a political issue, if that deadline comes and there's no action by the Democrats in Congress, I certainly think the president can make the case that, look, the Democrats said, open up the government and we'll come to the table. He's made it clear that he's willing to talk about a smart wall, about an intermittent wall, about technology, about personnel. He's come to the table with proposals. If the Democrats don't come to the table with proposals to meet this halfway, I think there's a political price to be paid.
You have written a piece in The Hill that caught our attention about the new New York State law that essentially allows abortion right up to the time the baby is delivered. The headline is, New York's extreme pro-abortion law is backward and barbaric. Tell us more.
Well, absolutely. Barbaric in the sense that we're talking about New York expanding abortion on demand even to the point of the birth of the child. You know, the typical standard has been the point of viability, and so most states look at 20 weeks as a point in which you can no longer consider abortion as an option unless you're talking about protecting and preserving the life of the mother. This particular act now takes that and turns it on its head and suggests that you can go beyond that up until the point of birth merely to protect the health interests of the mother, which could mean even the emotional state. And arguably, anyone who has an unwanted pregnancy could be in an emotional state, and it would allow a physician, but in New York now, even a nurse, to make that call. Barbaric, absolutely.
In that piece, you write, if we are forced to live in a world where even viable unborn children